Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today, we're taking a look at a pretty interesting product that's kind of flying under the radar. It's a speaker system that's being marketed as a bit of a hybrid, part soundbar, part bookshelf speaker, part home theater setup, and even a little bit of a PC speaker/subwoofer combo. It's called the Speaker Soundbar Bookshelf Home Theater Music Speakers for TV PC Subwoofer Bass Effect. Yeah, long name, I know. But I've been testing this out for a little while now, and I've got some thoughts. Right off the bat, this thing is trying to do a lot. I mean, when you look at the feature list, it says it works for your TV, your PC, has bookshelf speaker functionality, home theater sound, deep bass, and even comes with a subwoofer effect. That's a lot of expectations for something that sits well under the price of most name brand systems out there. So the real question is, can it deliver on all those fronts without compromising too much? Let's start with the design. Visually, it actually looks pretty clean. There's a matte finish across most of the body, minimal branding, and a pretty compact footprint for what it's claiming to be. It's not going to take up a lot of space whether you're placing it under a TV, next to a monitor, or even mounting it on a shelf. One of the more interesting things about this speaker system is that it's modular. So you're not locked into a single long soundbar design. The speakers actually detach, and you can use them as independent stereo speakers, kind of like bookshelf speakers. That's a nice touch because it lets you customize your setup depending on your space. If you're watching movies from a couch, you can keep them in soundbar mode. If you're sitting at a desk editing or gaming, you can pull them apart for better stereo separation. Build quality is decent. It's mostly plastic, as you'd expect at this price point, but it doesn't feel flimsy. There's a bit of weight to the speakers, not too much, but just enough that they don't feel cheap. The mesh grille on the front is metallic, which is a nice surprise, and gives it a bit more durability. Overall, it looks more expensive than it actually is, which is always a win in my book. Now let's talk connectivity, and this is where things start to get pretty interesting. You've got multiple input options here. There's Bluetooth, which worked just fine in my testing, pairing was fast and reliable. There's also a 3.5mm aux and USB support, and even an optical input, which is a huge plus if you're connecting to a TV or gaming console. I was honestly not expecting optical at this price range, but it's there, and it works. There's also a remote included, which gives you direct access to volume, input switching, EQ modes, and even bass/treble adjustment. It's simple, but it gets the job done, and it's nice to see physical controls instead of having to rely on a mobile app or touch buttons. And speaking of EQ, there are a few presets here: music, movie, dialogue, etc., which are actually more than just gimmicks. You can tell the difference in the tuning depending on the mode you're in. Now, onto sound quality. This is where I was honestly a little skeptical going in, but I've been pleasantly surprised. The highs are clear without being too sharp, mids are nicely present, especially for dialogue in movies, and the bass, while not exactly subwoofer level, definitely has some punch to it. If you're in a small to medium-sized room, you're gonna get a full soundstage without needing any additional gear. The stereo separation is actually really solid when you split the speakers into bookshelf mode. That's probably the best way to use them for music. Vocals feel more centered, instruments are spaced out well, and you don't lose much detail even at lower volumes. For watching content, YouTube, Netflix, even a few Blu-ray discs, I notice the soundbar mode does a good job of projecting audio directly towards you. Dialogue stays front and center, and the bass modes give action scenes a bit more oomph. Again, it's not gonna shake the walls, but it's enough to feel the low-end kick when explosions or music drops hit. One thing to keep in mind, this is a budget speaker system. So you're not going to get things like Dolby Atmos or wireless rear surrounds or anything like that. But for what it is, and the price it's coming in at, it's giving you a lot. And I do mean a lot. I also tried this setup with a gaming PC. If you're a gamer, especially one who plays story-driven or cinematic titles, this adds a really nice immersive layer. Gunshots, footsteps, ambient effects, it all feels more dynamic than your standard monitor speakers or even a typical desktop soundbar. Plus, since you've got direct volume control on the remote, you can tweak the mix on the fly if one game's mix is heavier on